My name is Alexandra, and this is an audio chronicling of 40 reflections in the 40 days leading up to my 40th birthday. While I am speaking from my own perspective, I invite you to join me in reflecting, implore you to share with friends who may also benefit from this type of reflection, and simply extend the offering of an opportunity to be your best and most authentic self. Episodes in this 40 and 40 series will typically be less than 15 minutes and end with a question for you to ask of yourself. Please subscribe and return to join me in this journey as we build momentum along the way. Here we go. There's something in getting to know a new person, a new friend, or a new person that you're dating, or say it's somewhere in between, someone you're attracted to and you're just exploring where it goes. In the process of working to get to know somebody and allowing them to get to know you, for me, I figure if I want you to know me, I have to open up a little bit. And so allowing another person to see me also gives me an enhanced opportunity to see myself. And occasionally that can come with revelations. And that can look different ways. Sometimes I've actually had a couple of instances where a person who may already have known me, for example, like through loose or even strong social ties, but someone I've had opportunity to have conversations with before, it wouldn't be until we started dating that it would be, revealed, and I'm using air quotes, that I'm funny. That's not necessarily something that a person who knows me casually would know, especially if they, depending on when or how they met me. I've historically drawn some very kind of dark and thick lines in the persona that I would present in a given context. So if a person knew me professionally versus if a person knew me as a performer versus if a person knew me through, one group of friends versus if they knew me from a different group of friends. And so, yes, it could be the case that someone who had lightweight known me for years might not necessarily know my humor or some of my interests, or just a person may never have had a chance to see me relax. And after experiencing that a few times, I realized, one, why was I doing that? Why did I find the need to hide myself? And of course, discretion is key, but something like being humorous, is that supposed to be some kind of prize? Or even, going back to the 5 love languages conversation. Some things are, spotlit, or they have a light shown on them in romantic contexts, because compliments may always be welcome, for example, but they can absolutely hit different, if you will, when they're coming from someone you're interested in. I've also, in some of my recent self-work, been doing quite a bit of research on, I won't say quite a bit, but I was doing some research on narcissism. And I was thinking about it in terms of some romantic connections I've had in the past. But in watching a video by a psychologist about it, they casually mentioned towards the end of the video that in professional context, it can look like XYZ. And I absolutely had an epiphany because I was thinking about breadcrumbing in the context of a particular romantic connection I had had and how I would respond positively in that instance. But in this professional context, where what I was needing from my employer was so much more than crumbs, that when I would get these crumbs in this professional context, it felt more like an insult than, a show of appreciation. And even that was a chance for me to learn about myself, because I realized that in that setting, I value myself to a point where crumbs would not suffice. And because I was looking at that breadcrumbing romantic relationship in retrospect, I'm no longer in that space either. So all of this reflection, introspection in the context of a new connection has served as an opportunity to learn something about myself, even if it's just the progress I've made since a certain point in time, or how I may or may not mirror other relationship dynamics I've witnessed in some of my formative examples. So this can be something to apply to thinking about a new connection, but really it can apply to just looking at existing connections as well. The question of, what are my interactions with this person teaching me about myself?